So this is the mighty hand, aka the Sing from Sing Premier Stores. It's the Death Force stores of all, but you get amazing bargains. Honestly, it's so, yeah, better than Tesco and Sainsbury's and everything. The best bargains ever. So Han came to me with neck issues. So he came with a neck problem just last week. I mean, it's massively alleviated, and the range of motion has massively improved as well, which is brilliant. But he couldn't turn his head, and it was something he just woke up with. It wasn't progressive. It was just something. So this is where I'm going to talk about sleep position. Never ever sleep on your front. You're going to end up with a messed up lower back. Most people who sleep on the front all have lower back problems, lower back pain, and if it's not addressed, you can see all the physios and chiros and health professionals in the world take all the painkillers. You've got to change your sleeping position and make sure it's the correct position. I'll go through that on another video with the library, but I'm just emphasising on the fact that why people get a lot of neck pain. If the pillow is too far and you're on your side and it's like this, what happens is the muscles here all lengthen, but the muscles here all shorten. Because imagine being in this position for 6 to 8 hours a night, and if you just flexed your bicep and just held it for 6 to 8 hours, these will all shorten, but you'll find it very difficult to extend the arm. It's the same with the neck. It's just muscle. That's all it is. So use that principle. Make sure the head's in alignment. Whenever you're on the pillow, make sure it's not like this when you're sleeping, and make sure the spine is completely in the correct position. If it's all twisted and you're on the front, then you're going to experience a lot of pain in the neck and the lower back. And the neck and lower back, they're all connected. But again, a whole new chapter. But the most important thing is sleeping position, especially with people who wake up with just neck pain. If you continue taking painkillers, or you don't correct the problem or the cause of the problem, you'll end up with headaches, and then from headaches they could then lead to all different types of sort of pains, which could be migraines. Now we give them all different names: cluster headaches, tension headaches, migraines, stress headaches. It don't matter. The problem is it's the pain in the head. There's always a cause of it. Look at the cause. For most people who just wake up with a pain in the shoulder and the neck or upper back, it's usually sleeping position, especially if you've never experienced pain in that area before. Also posture. So structure with Han, he doesn't really sit as much. He's always stood up, clearly having a convenience store. Let's emphasise the name: Sing's Premier, the Death Force, but soon to sell Life Force. I'm working on that, but we're going to get a balance. But if we look at posture, if we look at Han's posture, we can see from the back, which I'll show you now in the front. So Han, just stand up for me. The key thing is if you turn to the front, Han, what happens if you look at the clavicle and you can see the raised trap? So this is a lot more dominant, this is a lot tighter. But if I was to place my fingers, if you look at the difference in height, if you look at the difference in height, and you can see the difference in shoulder as well, what's going to happen is this pushes the ribs out of position. Okay, so the top 4 ribs are like bucket handles, so they move up and down. But once they move out of position, this will then create restriction in the neck, it will create restriction in the shoulder, and it will create restriction in the subscapular as well, which is the shoulder blade, which is the middleman for all your shoulder movements and your arm movements. So the more he continues in a dysfunctional pattern, this will then create more problems, especially if he goes back to lifting weights or doing press-ups or any resistance work or anything like that. But it will start to create more tightness, which then will lead to major injuries. So a lot of you who have never had your posture assessed, come in, get your posture assessed, and it'll be the best thing you ever do. Remember, this is not, it's like taking a painkiller. It doesn't rectify the problem long term. It's a short-term fix, but then it's upon him to continue changing sleeping positions, continue training to complement his lifestyle. If you stood up for long periods, just remember you're doing a lot of quad work, the abdominals are constantly contracted, there's a lot of pressure on the lower back, hamstrings are not being engaged, so you've got to be aware of what muscles you're not engaging, complement your lifestyle, and create a program that works with your lifestyle and works with your body to strengthen it and to keep it in alignment. Flexibility for hand, especially around this area, is absolutely crucial to sit the muscles in correct position, which would then stop the joints from moving out of position, because it's the muscles that tighten up and then they create movement of joints. So remember that. Joints never really get stiff. The joints will always move in the way they're designed to move. It's the muscles around it and tendons and ligaments that they're all attached to. They're all attached to each other, and that's what creates the problems. Okay, so now we're going to fix hand with a simple manipulation, and you'll see this will sit back in position. We'll muscle test him and make sure he's back in alignment, back in postural correction, and then it's upon him to change his habits outside, and then we'll give him a program, exercises to complement his lifestyle, so we prevent it from coming on. We don't want to just treat the problem. So constantly going to physios and getting clicked and chiropractors and all that shit is only temporary. It's not long term. We need to be educating people on what to be doing outside of that. Yeah? But it's a great fix short term. It's just like taking a drug. But remember, if you're not fixing the problem or fixing the cause or finding the imbalance, you can never fix the problem. So find the cause. Okay, push up for me.
Yeah.
Push. Good. And then head that way and push. Brilliant. And then head this way and push. E to shoulder. Push. E to shoulder. Bring it up. Push. Good. And then reach out from your head. Reach out and push up. Good. Okay, let's switch this way and then push up. Good. And then head that way. And then this way. E to shoulder. E to shoulder again. Okay, that one. And push now. Okay, that's totally off. Push again. Push again. Not that one. Push. Push. Definitely that one. Reach out for me. Push. Good. And push now. Good. And push. Good. Okay. So from here, turn it in like this.
Yeah.
And pushing towards you. Push. Nothing there, is there?
No.
So the moment we touch, pushing towards you, see the difference in power.
Yeah.
Yeah? That's how it should feel. Okay, so we know that there's a problem here though anyway. We know there's a problem because if I touch that one, pushing towards you, then you see the difference in power.
Yeah.
The moment you touch that one, push, and that's how energy works. That's how energy works, you see? Just the power of touch, I can find out all your problems. I'm being serious as well. Okay, so from here, pushing towards you. Good, and then this one, pushing towards you. Brilliant, and relax it there. Okay, with this one, and what you're going to do is you're going to push out that way.
Yep.
Okay, push. Good, and then this one, push out. Nice and strong, brilliant. Okay, from here, because we know the neck affects lower back, most people with sciatica problems or lower back issues, if you were to test this muscle, especially those suffering with sciatica, his brother Mandeep, for instance, major flexibility problems, that guy, but he's a whole new project. He's not a one video guy, that. He's a whole year project. I've yet to get him in. That video will soon follow, I promise. But sciatica, for instance, he won't be able to hold this position. So push in. So you know there's no problems with Hen's lower back. But when we do test one, if we ever do get someone with sciatica, which I tend to get a lot of, who's happy for me to film, I'd love to get Mandeep in. He'll be the best. But he'll show complete curvature in the spine, still continues to play football, and then he rings me, and this guy can't even touch his knees. Never mind his toes. And relax at that. Okay, brilliant. So he's nice and strong. The only area that showed weak was this connects to the lat. So in kinesiology, this is known as the lats test, but also the lat, the same nerve, corresponds with the spleen, which is an immune system response as well. So if he doesn't get this muscle sorted, you'll find eventually he'll have an immune system response, which he might suffer with a cold or might feel unwell. So it's the same nerve supply that also supplies that organ. Bloody fascinating, isn't it? Hey, didn't know that, did ya? Right, so in here, push in towards you again, hand, push in, and there's no power at all. Okay, so we've got to fix that. So number one, I fix your neck, because we go weak on this aspect, don't we? Where you bring the ear down to the shoulder and push in, and it's that aspect. Okay, relax it there. So bring it back here, and push now, and it's super strong again. Okay, relax it there. So it's only one disc that's off. That's all we need to control. Bring it right down for me to the ear, about there, perfect. And it's just a touch. Okay. And relax there, just touch it there. Brilliant, okay. Now from here, bring the ear down to the shoulder, push up, and he becomes a super warrior, Spartan, Hulk busting, Shanghai smashing hen. Okay, so from here now, And to stand up for me, I'm just going to manipulate, put that joint back in position.
Yeah.
Relax. There we go, fantastic. That was brilliant. Okay, so if you stand up for me now, and when we go back to retesting, what should happen is if it's all back in alignment, and you'll see the difference in how they're all back in alignment again. Can you see? Yeah? So it's a lot better than the first time. That's how we make manipulation, and we make the body more of a Shanghai warrior. Okay, so and lie on your back now.
Yep.
So now we're going to just test. Remember also with this, there's other testing which we can do, which is the systemic part of kinesiology as well. So I mean, he's throwing money at me. Look at that. It's amazing.
That's how good
all
he
the
is.
time. Anyway, so power of energy. Okay. So what happens was also on nutritional testing, I use it with a lot of people who have obesity issues, obviously who are overweight, who have been told to train and they're going to the gym 5 days a week. Remember, you guys ultimately need nutrition, you need the mindset conditioning. So I always say get someone, get advice from, you know, like a mindset coach, or, you know, even a counselor, just some, or a hypnotherapist, whatever, to help you change your food habits, or not even change, because it's very difficult to change food habits, but to create new habits. That's what we want to do, which will eventually override the old habits. That's what we want to do, because the subconscious mind is very, very powerful. You're on it running 97 to, I'd say probably 96 to 98% of the time. So you've only got a 1 to 4% on a conscious decision, but you've still got the decision. Even if it is 1 to 4%, you've still got a choice in terms of what you're consuming in foods. But we can energy test foods as well. But obviously Hen doesn't really need that, to be honest. But now if we were to test his, is predominantly structural. If we were to test now, pushing towards you, Hen, and you see the power, it doesn't go weak. So now you'll find the supply, blood supply and everything that's needed, the nutrients, everything, that nerve is now communicating also to the organ that supplies the power through the lats. Yeah? Quick fix, not long term. Now it's upon him to change his sleeping positions, make sure he's stretching, and making sure he's got a good training program to complement his standing lifestyle. Brilliant.